right, and now's the time we bring in our beautiful panel of doctors. Welcome to BNC and welcome back for those who just are joining us. First, we have Dr. Renee Matthews. She's a medical correspondent and she's also the host of Out of Office with Dr. Renee. Then, representing the A-Town, we have Dr. Kelly Wood joining us.
All right, and ladies, we want to get right to it by asking, today the CDC updated the COVID-19 school guidance to emphasize in-person schooling. Now, regardless if they can't take all of the steps to curb the spread of the virus, in your opinion, what problems can arise with the Delta variant spreading and the fact that children under the age of 12 aren't even eligible for the vaccination yet?
I'll let you go first, Kelly.
Okay, so the Delta variant was first discovered in India in December, and since then it has been rampant in India as well as Great Britain, and the first case was discovered here in the US in March of this year. And as of now, it represents about 20% of the cases of COVID-19, and it's actually more contagious than the first strain that we had. So it's quite frightening that children will be going back in person unvaccinated because, as the COVID-19 spreads, it evolves and it will continue to mutate.
And so it's important, if they're going to go back, they need to wear masks, especially indoors.
Yeah, but a lot of schools aren't mandating that yet, so that could turn into an even larger problem and then continue to spread it to adults, even if they are vaccinated, right?
Correct. And that's why a lot of states are actually changing, California being one of them, saying, okay, please, if you're going to be indoors, please wear masks, because the Delta variant is so contagious and the signs and symptoms are so common. They're like runny nose. Who would think that they had, a COVID strain with a runny nose? But it happens so quickly. You have a runny nose one minute, next minute you're hospitalized.
Okay, now we'll start with you, Dr. Renee. How could this affect Black and brown children and their families, especially knowing that they're prone to so many other conditions as well?
Well, that on top of the fact that unfortunately our numbers of getting vaccinated are still lower than the national averages. So that's where we're really running into a problem, because if they do get this variant, it happens so quickly. People are dying still because of this. And now the numbers are going back up because of this. So for Black and brown people, especially with our underlying conditions, we have to be very, very, very vigilant to get our vaccines. If your doctor has said you can get the vaccine, please get vaccinated. Get if you have children that are older than 12, get them vaccinated as well, because the more of us that are vaccinated, the less likely it is to spread. And once it's spread is when we get these new variants. So, we're talking about Delta this week, but then there's Lambda that's on the horizon for next.
Okay, well, Dr. Kelly, Pfizer is seeking FDA authorization for a booster shot to protect against the Delta variant, which a former White House official, by the way, called COVID on steroids. So is this a sign that the vaccines that are currently in place are losing their effectiveness as they are talking about these mutations coming about?
So studies coming out from Great Britain and even Canada shows that the current vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, are effective even against the Delta variant, but not as effective as, say, the regular strain of COVID-19. They're as effective in terms of keeping you out of the hospital, but in terms of your symptoms, that Dr. Renee was saying, is not as effective. Pfizer has also seen waning responses in terms of immunity to the COVID-19 vaccine. So they recommend that maybe a year after initial shot that you might require a booster just to keep those antibody levels up.